Greetings and welcome to From the Basement. In this video we're going to get our boxes working. Now we're going to deviate quite a bit from the book because I want to use parenting on the boxes because I think it fits very well for this particular example. It simplifies a lot of repetitive actions that you would have to do otherwise. But first let's talk about how boxes are supposed to work. And the game is going to generate boxes at the top of the screen that are going to fall towards Laz. When the boxes hit the floor, they're going to stop moving, and Lazarus can now jump on top of those boxes safely. Different kind of boxes are going to crush different kind of boxes. Cardboard boxes are the weakest and don't crush anything, followed by wood boxes, which can crush the cardboard, metal boxes, which are basically wood reinforced with metal, which can crush wood and cardboard boxes, and then finally stone boxes, which can crush everything and is crushed by nothing. So that's where we're going with this. I'm going to go ahead and minimize or collapse down Laz. I'm going to create a new group here. Oh, right. Got to do that first. Create a new group. Call this boxes. Compact down my sounds. And start creating things. Now, we're going to need two different boxes. Again, we're using different objects to represent different object states. So we've got a falling state, and we have a standing state. So let's go ahead and start with the cardboard box. So I'm going to create an object here. I'm going to call it card fall. Set the image to the cardboard box. And I'm just going to go ahead and immediately create a card stand. And set it to, again, the cardboard sprite. Now here's where we're going to start using the parenting. Here it is, parent, currently set to no parent. I'm going to set the parent to wall. Now, what does it mean when we set a parent object in GameMaker? It basically means that this card stand object is now also a wall object. Anything that would work on a wall will also work on a cardboard stand, a card stand object now, because it is a wall. This is a one-way relationship, by the way. Parents know nothing of their children. Game objects are very bad parents. They know nothing of their children. So a wall has no idea or no concept or no knowledge at all of the card stand object. But the card stand object, because its parent is wall, has all of wall's properties, all of wall's functions, and all of wall's behaviors, with one exception, and that is the solid property. That we must recheck, because that if we left that unchecked, the card stand would not be solid, and it does need to be solid for the collisions. And we'll see this play out as we get deeper into the objects. So the standing cardboard box is pretty simple. And to verify that this is working, I'm going to go into my room. And instead of having walls there, I am going to have, cardboard boxes. And I should be able to jump up and walk on these just like I can a regular wall. Oops. I thought I hit the play button, but I guess I didn't. Alright, so I can jump up, I can walk over them, fall down. Yep, okay, they're behaving exactly the same as walls. So that's the standing. Now let's handle the falling part. And what we're going to do for the card fall is we're going to add in a create event, because as soon as this card falling, this falling box gets created, we want it to be over the player and falling towards the player, so that way if the player doesn't move, they're gonna die. So we're going to add an event, create. We're going to jump to a position. And we are going to jump to lasStand.x. Oops, capitalization is important. lasStand.x, lasStand.y. And it would help to actually put an x in there and not a z. So lasStand.x, lasStand.y. This is an absolute coordinate, and no, we do not want the lasStand.y. Why did I put that in there? I have no idea. Our y value actually needs to be negative 40. The lasStand.x is correct. In other words, we want the box lined up on the x-axis. The y we want to set to an absolute negative 40 because we want to make it look like the boxes are falling into the room. If we just set this to y equals 0, the boxes would magically appear at the top, and that's not the look we're wanting. So we need that y at negative 40. We also need to set the box falling downwards. So we're going to take the move free, because that's the simpler one. We're going to say down, and then we need to set the speed to 5. Again, got to make sure we keep that multiples of 40 thing going on. 5 divides evenly into 40. Now we also need to handle stopping the box. So once this box hits a wall, it needs to stop moving. So I'm going to do an add event, collision with a wall, and this will also work then with cardboard standing boxes. Because remember, a card stand is a wall. So when a card fall hits a card stand, it will stop. So when we collide with a wall, we're going to do the move free, no direction, speed of 0. Stop ourselves from moving, and we're going to transition into a card stand. So main 1, and change instance, boxes, card stand, perform events not. Don't need to do events on that. All right, so let's test this, but more importantly, how do we test this? We've got a couple of things we need to test. We're going to have to reset a couple of times. One is, whoops, didn't mean to click on play button yet. One is we need to test the box falling on an actual wall, and we need to test the box falling on a cardboard box. So again, I'm going to put in some additional cheat codes here. I'm going to go into my lasStand here, and I'm going to add a key press event, key header letters, and C for a card box. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to create a card fall. So I can control when and where I want one of these things to appear. You notice I did not fool with the XY location because, well, the card falls create event should handle that. Press C, box falls down, stops. I can jump on it. Press C, and things fall down appropriately. Now, of course, one thing that we do not have yet is death and being afraid. So let's go ahead and handle this death thing now. When a falling box hits Lazarus, it needs to kill him. So we're going to add a new event. We're going to add a new collision with a lasStand. Now we're only going to do the collision with lasStand and not the jump left, right things. So, and now this does mean that if the player has split-second timing, they can jump just before the box hits them, and it'll look like the sprite clips through the box. It's really hard to get that timing just perfect, so it's not a big issue. We're not going to try to correct that. So if a card fall hits a lasStand object, what do we need to do? Well, we need to change last stand into a last squish. So we will do change instance. Now we want to change other. We don't want to change the falling box into a last squish. We want to change the other, which is last stand, into a squish. So we'll change them into a last squish. Now, what do we need to do with that? If we don't do anything with last squish, we'll just see an endlessly looping animation there. So let's take a look. Just like the Galactic Mailer, we're going to have to freeze the animation frame. So we'll take a look at last squished. How many frames we got here? 11 sub-images. So that means my last frame is index 10. Yes, hopefully you said 10. Remember, we start counting at 0, so our ranges go from 0 to 10 for a total of 11 sub-images. And then just a, oops, did not mean to do that. 0, 0, edit sprite, that's what I meant to click on. And as you can see here, image 10, nice and gooey and squished. All right, so with that knowledge in our minds, we'll go to the last squished. We're going to do an animation end, so add event, other, animation end. We're going to freeze the animation, so main one, set sprite to last squished subimage 10, speed 0, freeze it on that final frame. And again, we want to give the player a moment to recognize that, hey, you've died. And so we need to set a timer again, just like we did in the Galactic Mailer. Now, the book just has you doing a message to the screen, but I think it really is better to give the player like a half a second, because we already got, 11 frames worth of animation to wade through here. Give the player a half a second to think about their death before showing the message. So we've got our animation end, we've frozen our sprite, so let's go ahead and get the timer going. We'll just freeze this for half a second, so 15 steps on alarm 0. Add in an event, alarm 0. And here we'll do the display message. There it is, info. And now the book has it like this. Well, not this exact message. You lost, better luck next time. What does that hashtag do there? That hashtag breaks the message up into 2 lines. That's basically the new line character. Whoa, okay, what just happened there? Well, what happened is a massive technical error. I thought I had paused the recording to do something and then restarted it, and it never got restarted, and so I went blazing on full speed and implemented all of the boxes off camera. Now, it would be a massive amount of work to try to go back and undo it and redo it, so instead I'm just simply going to talk through all the steps instead of doing all the steps live. As far as actually dragging in the actions and stuff, you guys know how to drag in actions, as long as you know which actions to drag in. Alright, so we had just gotten done displaying the message. After the message has been displayed and the user clears it, we need to restart the current room, which again, that is under main 1, and the arrow going into the room there. So just restart the current room, so that way things can proceed on. So we can run this. Hit C, the box comes down, and squoosh, there goes Laz. Hit OK, and we've restarted. So that finishes up the cardboard box. Let's take a look at the next box, which is the wood box. Now, when I did this, I just simply duplicated card stand, and for wood stand, it's pretty simple. It's visible, it's solid. Set the sprite to the wooden box, and set the parent to wall, just like we did with card stand. This means that all of our standing boxes act as walls, and that saves us quite a bit of time, because you got to remember, if all of these standing boxes weren't walls, in the card fall, we would have to have a collision with a card stand. We'd have to have a collision with a wood stand, a metal stand, a stone stand. And if we wanted to add in boxes later on, other box types, we'd have to add those collisions in. But since we're having all of our stands as wall objects, we can just simply leave this collide with wall, and that's all we need to do is a collide with wall. So wood stand, sprite, visible, solid, parent, wall, done. The stands are pretty simple. Now the fallings are a little bit more complicated. Let's crack open wood fall here. Of course, I set the sprite. And we're going to set the parent to card fall for the wood fall. This is important. So remember, inside of card fall, we have got two very important events in here. We have this create event that controls the box jumping to above Laz and falling into the window, into the room. And we have the collision with Laz stand, which kills the player and ends this particular game, or it restarts the room. Because when you do parenting, you get, like I mentioned before, you get the parent's events as well. So since a wood fall is a card fall, it automatically gets these three events. Now, we don't want card falls event, and I'll show you why. This event's pretty easy to put back in, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete out the event on wood fall here. Card stand I will get to in a moment. So with that event removed, this is what happens. Remember, a wood fall is a card fall, so it inherits card falls collide with wall. So if I drop a wood box and hop out of the way so it doesn't kill me, well, just magically turned itself into a cardboard box. That's not good. And again, it's because it has card falls collide with wall event, which changes into a card stand, which is not what we want. So we do have to override this with our own version of the collide with wall, stop our movement, and transition into a, where is it, wood stand. So we do have to do that. We still get some time savings because we only have to have a collide with wall. We don't have to do events for colliding with card and wood and stone and metal and anything else we decide to put in. Okay. Now the other game mechanic that we need to have is the stronger boxes should crush the weaker boxes. So a wooden box should crush a cardboard box. So we need a special interaction for that because a cardboard box doesn't have that interaction with it. And so we're going to say, okay, well, if you collide with a card stand object, we are going to destroy other. Remember, we're in the wood falling box. We don't want to destroy the wood falling box. We want to destroy the cardboard box that we just hit. So destroy instance other. And that will destroy the cardboard box. Now, if you're paying very close attention, you'll notice we've got a potential problem here. A card standing box is a wall. We have a collision event with a wall, and we have a collision event with a card stand. How do I know which one takes precedence? Well, an object is always its native type first and foremost. So a card stand is a card stand first. So the collision with the card stand will take precedence over the collision with the wall. Even though the card stand is a wall, it's a card stand first, and so this will get priority. And we'll use and abuse that fact as we proceed on with the other types. And then to continue on with the cheat codes to be able to test this properly on the last stand, I added in a press W event to create an instance of woodfall. So we can hit the play button. There's a couple of interactions we want to test and verify on this. First, does it stop properly when hitting a wall? It does. Does it stop properly when hitting a wood box? Yes, it does. Does it crush a cardboard box when it hits it? Yes, it does. Does a cardboard box stop properly when it hits it? Yes, it does. And if I want to be really paranoid about it, can I not jump up on it? Can I fall off on it properly? So on and so forth. All sorts of fun test scenarios that you can try out with this. And most importantly, does it still kill me? Yes. Yes, it does. So we got our wood box working. And honestly, from this point on out, all of the other boxes are pretty much just more of the same. So metal is next. So a metal stand has a metal box sprite. It's visible, it's solid, has a parent of wall. Basically, same thing as card stand and wood stand, just with a different sprite. A metal fall is again more of the same. Only this time, instead of having a parent of card fall, we have a parent of wood fall. That means we get wood falls interactions with the crushing of the cardboard stand, and we get card falls interactions with the create event and squishing Laz. These are chains. So since a metal fall is a wood fall, and a wood fall is a card fall, a metal fall is also a card fall. It gets a little bit confusing. Just sort of think of these like on a number line. You go from card fall to wood fall to metal fall, and you've got that chain. Although actually probably the other way. You go from metal fall to wood fall to card fall. And it's always its primary type first. So for the metal fall, again, we need to override the collide with wall event because we need to make sure we transition into a metal stand, not a wood stand or a card stand. So we have its own collide with wall. And since a metal should crush a wooden box, we have a collide with wood stand and destroy the instance. Again, destroy other. So that way it will crush the wood stand. And again, on Lazarus, I have a press M event to create an instance of a metal fall. So again, how does this work? Let's go through and make sure this plays out correctly. And again, I want to test everything. I want to be able to test, okay, does it collide properly with a wall? Yes, it does. Does it collide properly with itself? Does it crush a cardboard box? Yes, it does. Does it crush a wooden box? Yes, it does. And will it go through multiple layers? Will it crush this cardboard and wood box? Which it should. And it does. And finally, will it kill me? Which it does. All right. Metal box is good. And then more of the same for stone boxes. So a stone stand has the appropriate sprite, visible, solid, parent wall. And a stone fall box, again, has a metal fall as a parent because we want that crushing of the wood stand behavior and the crushing of a card's behavior. We have to override the collision with the wall to stop and change into an instance of a stone stand. And then stone boxes should crush metal boxes. So we have a collision with a metal stand, which destroys other. Again, we want to destroy the metal stand, not the stone fall. And then, once again, with Lazarus stand, I have the press S event, creating an instance of a stone fall, so I can test everything out. I've got quite a few interactions to test out this time. So, we've got a stone. Stone should stop on the wall correctly. It does. It should crush a cardboard box, which it does. Let's see here. So we crush a cardboard, we crush a wood box, we crush a metal box. Oops, and I did these in the wrong order. So metal, wood, cardboard, and stone. Does it crush all three of them at once? Yes, it does. Finally, does it kill me? Yes, it does. And that has all of our boxes working correctly. Now, one thing that hasn't been done yet is adding in sounds, but we'll go ahead and do that in the next video. The next video will have all of our polish in. We've got a few gameplay elements left. We've got our button for ending the level, plus we have putting in the title screen, constructing a couple of levels, things like that. And so on that pass is where we'll go through and do all of our polish work and getting all of the sounds in and stuff. We'll also get in Lazarus being afraid in the next video as well. And so, till the next video.